Tones, tones, tones. Tones, tones. Yes, today we're going to look at a topic that I have to say, over the past 13, 14 years, this is the #1 topic that I get asked about. I have people from all over the world, whether they're speaking, whether they're learning Thai, Chinese, Cantonese, Mandarin, or other Chinese dialects or languages, Vietnamese, Burmese. There's all this question, and there's almost like a mysterious ether that surrounds the whole area of tones, as though it's something that it's forbidden and Westerners just aren't there, shouldn't understand. But I'm here to tell you today that there's no mystery about them, there's nothing that's scary about them, and I want to dispel a few of the myths about it. One of them is, oh, I'm tone deaf, I can't hear the tones, I can't learn tonal languages. But let me ask you this. If I say, who did a pop on the fakarirak? Who did a pop on the fakarirak? Now, okay, apart from the fact that it's in a bad Indian accent, and I'm allowed because I'm part Indian, who did a pop on the fakarirak? We know as a native speaker of English that just sounds not right. Who did a poop on the fakarirak? Who did a pop on it? But if I go into the did and put that accent on there, it sounds strange. Something thinks, hey, that's not right, and that's part of what makes different accents that aren't native speaking of native English speaking to native ears sound strange, and you know that that's not native. Now the same with tones. I can tell you for the majority of Thais, if you start going into what tones actually are, Thais will get just as scared as you. You know, in Thai there's no word for tone when you're talking about the language. You actually call them wanayuk, but wanayuk has nothing to do with the word tone or sound. If we hear the word tone in English, we think of sound. Wanayuk comes from the word wana from Sanskrit, which is varna, which means color or a group. Yuk is from the word yukti or marker. So it's a color marker, or I prefer to use this. It locks it into the heart more. They're sound flavors. So tones are just sort of sound flavors for us, but really, what are tones? In Chinese, we call them sheng diao, sheng diao. Or they're, so the word sheng is the voice or a sound, and diao, a marker or grade. So sheng diao. Sheng, actually an interesting thing. In Cantonese, sheng is seng. In Thai, it's xiang, which means voice also. In Vietnamese, tiang, tiang, you can see the sh turns into a t, tiang, and they all mean the same. Now in Vietnamese, tiang Viet, có được không? Tiang literally means language, but it could also mean voice in Vietnamese, but it always has this meaning of sound, voice, so it's the levels of the voice. Sheng diao, xiang, or wanayuk. Now, I want to let you have a look at something that happens with tones, and this is where tones are really coming from. Now, in Thai we have a non-plosive K. It's part of these middle-class consonants. You can see these consonants that come when the throat is closed, there's no air able to move through, and it's just my throat muscles, or my mouth muscles, making the consonant sound. So let's do a non-plosive K, which is just like a throat pop. Okay, so ka, ka, as opposed to, and that's like the K that you might find in the word sky. Sky, sky, as opposed to the word ka, ka, ka. You can see that my throat is open in ka and sky. Ka, my throat's closed at the beginning of that. So let's have a listen to the quality of the vowel sound. Ka, 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 ka. And now let's have a look what happens when I put a big puff of air over the K. Ka, ka. What happens? Now my throat, when I put that big puff of air over it, ka. What happens to the A sound? Ka. Ka, because of the nature of that initial consonant sound, it has an effect on the pitch or the level of what that vowel is that's going to follow it. Ka, ka. Now have a look at this. What happens if I know that my throat's going to close at the end of a syllable? Listen to this. Ka. Okay, that's fair enough. But what happens when I put this big puff of air that knocked my voice down? Ka, ka, ka. What does it do to my voice? It pulls it up as my voice box is closing. Ka, ka. And that's exactly what happens with tones in Thai, in Cantonese. This is what the pitch change is. It's the difference between what the throat and the mouth and the muscles are doing in the beginning of a syllable and the end of a syllable. So I try and do these drills and reinforce in my Cracking Thai fundamentals to start getting the muscles working in this muscle memory, because if your throat's doing the right thing, the tones are going to come naturally. So to help people who think that they have a problem in hearing tones or hearing this different accent or stress, let's do this exercise here. Now, when we're looking at tones, if you've ever studied Chinese languages, you'll notice you've got this graph that they use. And 5 is the highest point of your voice, and 1 is the lowest point of your voice. So let's just practice here. I'm going to use my finger and let's follow the finger here. So this would be about a 3 in the middle. That's just your normal voice, and I want you to sound like a robot. And now I want you to follow my finger as it goes up to 5 and down to 1. Now it's going across 1. That is a great exercise. Now, you might sound a bit funny in front of your friends and family if you're doing that, but just following the finger along from 3 to 5, down to 1. Then you can start controlling and locking your voice in on those tones. So if I say there's a 5 to 3 tone, that would be from fa, ma. See, it's gone from 5 down to 3. If I say what is a 2 to 1 tone, that would be, so 2 would be about there, ma, ma. You can see that? So this is the tool that people use to denote tones, to write them down, and you can make graphical representations, but it's also good because then you can start locking yourself in and use that exercise there to lock your voice into the tone pitches. So if I was to say in Mandarin, say, you have your 5 tones there, so you have ma, that would be a 5-5, ma, ma, ma. You can see that? Now, in Thai, we have a different set of tones there. Now, for Thai tones, let me just tell you a story first, and this might make it easier. Picture Dennis the Menace. Now, Dennis the Menace is this real brat of a kid, and his mum's just gone out. She's just gone across to talk to the neighbor, and while she's out, Dennis goes up into the bathroom and he turns all the taps or the faucets on. There's water splashing everywhere. The hot water's coming out, so the place is steaming up. And he starts to get all his mum's sort of lipstick and graffitis over the mirrors and powder splashing everywhere. The dog comes in and he gets his mum's toothbrush and he's brushing the dog's teeth with the toothbrush and shampooing the cat. You can imagine this chaotic scene. Can you feel the emotion in there? That's important. We're going to link this emotion into the language. So, what's happening? You can imagine how the scene is. Now, when mum walks in and she's seeing all this chaos there, there's bubbles floating around, steam there, brushing the dog's teeth, the cat's all shampooed up, there's graffiti, the lipstick's everywhere. How does mum feel? Right, you can imagine. She's angry. Now, I want you to do this with me. She looks at Dennis and she says, "Why? Why? Why?" Now, I want you to build it up from why? 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 And then Dennis just looks up at her in this sullen look and he goes, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Now, let's have a look at that again. What does Mum say? Why? 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 You can see why? It starts high and goes higher. Why? It starts low and goes up. Why? It starts really high and goes down. Why? 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 And what does Dennis say? Yeah, yeah. So let's drill some of those. What's Mum's first word? Why? What's Dennis's first word? Yeah. What's Dennis's second word? Yeah. What's Mum's third word? Why? What's Mum's second word? Why? What's Mum's first word? Why? What's Dennis's first word? Yeah. What's Dennis's second word? Yeah. What's Mum's third word? Why? What's Mum's first word and third word? Why? Why? What's Mum's second word and Dennis's first word? Why? Yeah. Okay. So we've got the emotion hooked into the tones. That's important. Keep it there. Go back over those and drill yourself again, and maybe you can practice by yourself. Write them out and just practice following them. Now, let's see how these tones hook into Thai. Now, if we have why, why, why? Now, there's a reason I grouped those tones in to Mum. You can notice that they're all moving. Why? Now, this is what we call the high tone in Thai. Now, it's some people mistake it. They think that a high tone is just this level. Why? It's not. It starts high. Why? And goes higher. So if we put that across into a Thai word, ma starts high, ma, and goes higher. Ma is a horse. Ma, horse. Now, Mum's second word, why, ma, ma, that's a dog. So we have, and that second one starts low, really low, low in the lowest part of my voice, and goes up. Ma, why? So let's have a look at the comparison between those two, the high tone. Ma, 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 why, why, and then why. That's a high falling down. Why? Ma, ma. Okay, that's not really a word in Thai. It is in Mandarin though. Ma, ma. 我要骂你啊. Ma means it's the fourth tone in Mandarin, which means to berate or scold or get angry at somebody. So ma, 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 ma. And then what are Dennis's words? Now you notice about Dennis's words, yeah, yeah, they're constant, they're level, they do not move, they do not move. One is in the middle of my voice, just this normal, mundane, monotonous voice. I sound like a robot, I'm not stretching my voice anywhere and it doesn't change pitch at all, yeah. And then, yeah, that's down at the bottom of my voice. I can't go any lower than that, but it's actually just staying constant. I'm not changing the pitch. Yeah, yeah. So let's have a look. That would be ma, ma means to come. Yeah, ma, ma, ma. So let's try these words again. Why, why, why? Ma, ma, ma. Yeah, yeah. Ma, ma. Got it? Now let's have a look at some words. I'm going to say some words and see if you can guess the tone. Nam. That means water. Nam. That's right, it's a high tone. It starts high and gets higher. How about this? Nam. Nam. That's right, it's a rising tone. Starts low and rises up. And so nam is water. Nam is a thorn or a spike. Na, na. That's that robotic kind of mesmerizing chanting kind of sound that's in this middle of the voice. Na. That's a middle, or we call it a common tone. Common tone. Okay. Now with this common tone here, the word na, that's actually like tung na. It means a field. Ma, to come. You see that these ones, your voice doesn't change at all. As an English speaker, be very careful that you don't make your voice glide up and down. Now, how about this word? I'll give you another couple of examples. Chai, chai, chai. I start high, go, and I fall down. So that's Mum's third word. Why? Chai. Chai means it is, and chai, and it is a falling tone. It's from 5 and it goes down chai to about 3 or 2. Chai, depending on how you're speaking. How about this? Mai, mai, mai. Why? That's Mum's second word. That's a rising tone. It starts low and goes higher. How about this word? Dai, dai. That's right, dai. It starts high, dai, and goes down. It falls down. That's a falling tone. Mai dai, mai dai. Mai is falling also. Dai, you cannot. Mai dai, tam mai dai. An interesting thing about that word dai there, it's the same word as in Mandarin, de, and in Cantonese, dak, or in Vietnamese, được. And it always has this same meaning. It's like an auxiliary verb, can, be able to obtain, unto oneself, được. So this word dai, though, when it comes across to Thai, is a falling tone. It starts high and falls down. So I hope I've been able to clear up a lot about tones today. Now, it's a very deep subject. It's something that's close to my heart, and you go into all these different things. So when two tones are going together, they might change and affect the tones around them. Happens in Chinese, happens in any language, it happens in English. But I'll leave those for other videos. Just go back and try and go over these videos. If you can, come along to one of my Cracking Thai Fundamentals workshops. I'll hopefully be running some soon in a place near you, and we can really get into these together. But don't be afraid of tones. Tones are just a natural progression of what the voice does, what the natural thing that happens with the muscles in the mouth between the beginning and the end of a syllable. And as long as you're making your throat do the right thing, the tones are going to happen automatically.